So we're counting down to the final days of the month of March, and effectively the first quarter of the year is Tuesday, the 25th. Hello, everyone, and welcome to your Frontier Opening Bell. Just a very quick touch on markets. Start from the bottom. GSE, the biggest exchange in the continent, fell roughly 0.6% on Monday. The NSE, that's the Nairobi market, was down below the 130 reading by 0.36%. The Egyptian market for the second day trading in Cairo, with the rest of the region reopening for the full business and markets week, down by 0.38%, while still holding 31,000 reading. The Casablanca stock market, that's the market next door in Morocco, got a bigger positive reading, more than 1% on Monday. The BRVM was 0.48% positive on Monday. The Ghana stock market got a first pullback after about 5 sessions. The whole last week was a positive one for the GSE in Accra. The Nigerian market started the week on the positive reading, 0.57% roughly. That figure, the banking sector, came roaring yesterday. UBA announced its latest earnings. Investors bought very heavily into that. Zenith Bank, Fidelity Bank, Jitco shares was up. FBN Holdings also gained. Stanbic IBTC also rallied on Monday. So we saw the banking sector appetite coming quickly. Of course, it's getting to the final days of the month and the quarters. You expect some portfolio adjustments. So investors and big pension funds are looking into capture some gains before the month finally wraps up. So that explains what you saw on Monday in Nigerian market. The insurance sector pulled back. Nigerian breweries gave the consumer goods some heads up as well for the start of the week. That's on the equity side. Let's move on. Grab some headlines. Let's go to East and Central Africa. We got some good news from the AFDB. About 330 million euros is what the DFR is putting behind the Northern Corridor highway that Cameroon is building. That's supporting what the World Bank is also doing to get more road infrastructure, road and rail in the Northern Corridor of Cameroon, as it is, and all the way down to the southern part. The northeastern part of Cameroon is where this is taking place, where the highway is being built. Congratulations, and get that to open up the logistics route for intra-Africa trade. Kenya, a very busy calendar week, started yesterday. Umeme is reporting this week on earnings. I&M Holdings, which is the parent company of I&M Bank, was listed on the NSE, as well as Rwanda and a few other markets within the region. You got the Kenya Airways earnings also coming through this week, as well as NCBA listed also on the Nairobi bourse. Congo says it may extend the cobalt export suspension. That's according to President Felix Tshisekedi. Somalia has formally joined Afreximbank as the 53rd member. Now we have just one more country on the continent to become a member of the Afreximbank, and this is congratulations to President Orama and the rest of his team at the headquarters in Cairo, where Afreximbank is hosted. The Capital Markets Authority in Ethiopia, that's the SEC, announced that the dematerialization of publicly offered securities is now available. It's another key step forward for this big East African economy in terms of reforming the markets and the economy. And Angola has formally stepped down as the mediator in the DRC conflict. Yesterday we got news that Brussels have sent in forces to the eastern corridor of the DR Congo as Rwanda formally sever relations with Belgium. That's the latest in that region. Let's move it very quickly forward to West Africa. I mentioned UBA earnings. The UBA Group says its entire African operations, excluding Nigeria, now account for about 51.7% of the total of the bank's total gross revenue for last year. And that's plays to the fact that UBA prices itself as Africa's global bank. Revenue came in 53.6%, profit 26.14%, total dividend being paid to shareholders will be 5%, with 5 naira per share. We're expecting the annual shareholders meeting in a couple of weeks down the line between April and May. Then, of course, you get to see more how the dividend yield and the earnings being pressured by some of the operating expenses that UBA has to go through. That has to be watched very keenly by Oliver Alauba and the rest of his team. That's what some analysts told us yesterday. Afreximbank is broke ground yesterday in Barbados, the island of Barbados, in the Caribbean for that $180 million Afreximbank Africa Trade Center is part of what you call cementing the new relationship between Africa, mainland Africa, and our brothers and sisters across the Atlantic in Barbados. The CARICOM deal is about $10 billion that Afreximbank is pursuing. Now you got the Lagos Federal High Court has fined MTN, the biggest listed telco, about 840 million naira for a trademark offense that has been sorted out by the courts. The trademark relates to one of the products that MTN is using. The folks who said they developed that product went to court, and they've got a judgment in their favor. Whether this will be appealed higher to the Court of Appeal and to other courts remains to be seen by MTN. And Elumelu Foundation says it's granted African entrepreneurs a total of $115 million since the foundation was set up back in 2015. It's been a decade of Tony Elumelu's foundation, which was promoted by himself and his wife, and that's supporting 1.5 million jobs across the African continent. I will say thank you for supporting Africa's entrepreneurship, Tony Elumelu. Let's move on. Let's start touching Southern Africa. And South Africans are going to enjoy lower fuel prices in the month of April because crude oil prices are tanking below $70. I'm sure you saw all of that for the past month. Right now, as of last night, WTI, the US West Texas Intermediate, still trading slightly below the $70 handle. London Brent, just about $3 above the 70 level. That's lower from where we started the year, around $80 a barrel. Then the Gold Road Australia says it's rejecting that $2.1 billion takeover bid from Goldfields, which listed on the South African GSE. Pepkor, that huge retailer listed also on the GSE in South Africa, says is looking to buy 4 brands, which will help it to gain access to 462 African stores. That's quite huge. And the markets we reacting to that news. In Zimbabwe, Inscore has posted $535 million in revenue. That's about 12% upside in the 6 months that ended December 2024. Inscore is in the food agro-allied business in Zimbabwe. In Malawi, the Mzuzu and Karunga airports are coming back to life in the next 3 weeks or so. Those airports have been shut down since 2010. And that will help the northern eastern corridor of Malawi open up its air logistics and air transportation. And finally, in the region, Angola is raising diesel prices 50% after the IMF asked the country to cut petrol subsidy. Let's go north and finish off in between Morocco and Egypt. Mestre Cement, that's listed on the Egyptian stock market, reporting 272 million Egyptian pounds profit for last year and marking 136% growth. That's quite hefty. And the Suez Canal says it's launching a pilot digital one-stop shop for investors. And that's some good news, by the way, make it easy for them. Afreximbank is co-leading Abadia's 750 million euros Eurobond issuance for 2028. That's Badia is that Arab Bank for Development, which is headquartered in Sudan. And the EU has dismissed claims of tax fraud in Moroccan tomato exports. Remember, Morocco has a big chunk of tomato and peppers exports to European Union, and that's one of the issues being discussed. By the way, the EU has dismissed that there's a tax fraud involved in tomato exports from Morocco. And you have U.S. Trade Mission looking to visiting Morocco. The idea is to enhance agri-food exports. The EU already there now. The U.S. is also eyeing that, looking into that market north of the continent. Those are the headlines we've got for you this Tuesday, as we wish you a very profitable business and markets day. Keep your eyes on Frontier Africa Reports.